Good evening, everybody. How you guys doing today? I hope you guys missed me because I did miss you guys. And today we're going to be talking about domestic violence. And my name is Lady J, and I am on Focus on Liberia. I'm the CEO of Everything Liberia, and I have been doing sex and relationship topics on Focus on Liberia for some time now. So today we're going to be talking about a topic that is very dear to my heart. And there's a lot of people that would like to sweep this topic under the rug and not talk about it. I feel it's something that we need to discuss because there is a lot of different things going on in our communities. We've heard of death news. We've heard of a lot of different things that's going on, just stating that domestic violence is on the rise. So today, we're going to be going over some topics about domestic violence. Feel free to call in at any time. If you want to be a part of the conversation, feel free to also join in. Please invite your friends and share the video. This is very important that we have this conversation and we continue to have it as an ongoing topic because it's something that has become a menace in our society, but it's like a silent menace because a lot of people don't talk about it. And when we do speak about it, it's kind of like gender, um, you know, it's gender bias where they talk about women a lot, but men to go through domestic violence. And we're going to talk about some of the different types of domestic violence today. So I implore you to kindly share the video and invite your friends. And without much ado, we're going to go right into it. So there are three types of intimate partner violence that they have. We have domestic violence and abuse. We have family member, and then we have member of an unmarried couple. So when it comes to domestic violence and abuse, we're talking about, let's see, physical injury, like a serious physical injury like stalking, sexual abuse, assault, or the infliction of fear of physical injury, serious physical injury, sexual abuse, or assault between family members or members of an unmarried couple. So that's domestic violence and abuse. Then we got another type is a family member. This means like a spouse, including a former spouse. It could be a grandparent, it could be a parent, it could be a child, it could be a stepchild, any other person living in the same household as the child if the child is an alleged victim. They want to go into the next type of intimate partner violence, member of an unmarried couple. This means that these two people are unmarried, they're a couple, and sometimes they have a child in common, and they come and like live together, and there is domestic violence going on. So, according to the CDC, the Center for Disease and Control Prevention, CDC has identified four types of intimate partner violence. We're looking at physical violence, sexual violence, stalking, and psychological aggression. So, information about the important revision in definition can be found in the CDC Intimate Partner Violence Surveillance. You can look for that as well in regards to research. And the CDC tried to put this information out here so that people can have the opportunity to look at the research and kind of like verify or come to terms or identify kind of what's going on with them when it comes to these types of violence. So we're looking at physical violence. That's the first one. And physical violence is the intentional use of physical force with the potential for causing death, disability, injury, or harm. Physical violence includes, but is also limited to, scratching, And pushing or shoving, that's considered physical violence. We also looking at chewing, grabbing, or biting. That's a physical violence. Also choking, shaking, aggressive hair pulling, slapping, um, punching, hitting, burning. These are physical, these are examples of physical violence. Also, the use of a weapon is a physical violence. Use of restraint on one's body size or strength against the other person. So when you say use of restraint, like you put somebody on the ground and you are like physically like on them and they can't move. Like, you sit somebody on the ground and you sit on them, you put your weight on them and they can't shake and stuff like that. That's what that means. The use of restraint on one body size. And then the next one is physical violence also includes coercing other people to commit any of the above acts. So research has shown that physical violence is often accompanied by psychological abuse. And in one third or half of those cases, sexual abuse comes into play. The violence is usually not limited to one instance. So there are different instances where these violence kind of like play out. And they found that women who were physically assaulted by an intimate partner average from 6.9 physical assault by the same partner, or men who were assaulted averages from 4 to 4. So it's not really so big of a gap when it comes to men that are being assaulted and women. And I like that this, one of the reasons why I choose this research is because it also gives you information about both men and women versus on a situation where they're just going to give you the instance of, that of the women. Because um, we are in a society where people only look at the side of the women. And you come to find out that men also go through the physical abuse. And this average is huge. It's now 1.1, it's now 1.2, it's 4.4. So women experience more chronic and injurious physical assaults at the hands of intimate partners than men do. So that's kind of like a research information now that is there. The NVAWS found out that more than 40% of women who were physically assaulted by an intimate partner were injured during the most recent assault, compared with the 20% of the men. So what this research is saying is when men assault women, the women get injured. When women assault men, sometimes they get injured, but only 20% of them get injured. So most injuries, such as crashes, bruises, cuts, were kind of like minor. More severe physical injuries comes on when it comes to the severity and frequency of the abuse. So, like sometimes physical violence, as you all know, can also lead to death. So sometimes if it's not just the scratches, the bruises, but maybe like the partner, punches another partner, and you can see like a place on the body, kind of like discolored, with the skin discolors, and you can see that mark on the blood sets in and stuff like that. And so those are kind of the severity they're talking about. We also, the next type of abuse we're talking about is sexual abuse, sexual violence. So sexual violence is divided into 5 different categories, and I'm going to be going over these categories for you, which consists of sexual violence, whether attempted or completed. Additional to all of these acts occur when the victims, without the victim's consent. So if the victim says no, and the perpetrator still goes ahead and do this, that means that is a sexual violence. And this includes with the, the victim, even if the victim is unable to consent. So let's say someone decided that they were going to put something in the drink of a woman or a man. This person didn't consent because they were too intoxicated to consent. So that too can be a form of sexual violence, where after they put something in the drink of this man or woman, they desire to have sex with them. Sometimes too, they do it through, the use of alcohol and drugs, where, you know, again, the person is not aware of what's really going on because maybe they're really drunk or they're really high, and then the act takes place. First thing we're going to be looking at when it comes to sexual violence is rape or penetration of the victim. So anytime there is a penetration whatsoever without the consent of the individual that is being penetrated, that is rape. So this includes completed or attempted force of alcohol, drug facilitated, unwanted vaginal, oral, or anal insertion. So rape can be blowjob rape. Rape can be in the anus, and rape can be in the vaginal. Anything that was either attempted or completed. So if the person tried to penetrate, the anus of another person, and they're not consenting to it, that's considered rape. If they are trying to, they got the person head like on them or down, like they got the person kneeling or whatever position they're in, and they're forcing the penis private part in the person's mouth, that is also considered rape. If it's vaginal, it's rape. Force penetration occurs through the penetration or use of physical force against the victim or threats to physical harm the victim. So that's rape or penetration. Okay. The next one, when it comes to sexual violence, is victim was made to penetrate someone else. So this includes completed or attempted as well. Force or alcohol, drug facilitated includes when the victim was made to sexually penetrate a perpetrator or someone else within the victim's consent. Now, this would be like a woman, where she probably drug a man and got him, aroused, and kind of like sat on him and had him penetrate her in whichever way to do a sexual act. That in itself is rape. So I know sometimes we'll be talking, at the end of the day, woman can rape man and stuff like that. Now you guys got a clear idea of a woman raping a man. That's how a woman can rape a man. And women do rape men. The next one is non-physical pressure or unwanted penetration. This one here includes when the victim was pressured verbally through intimidation or misuse of authority to consent to being penetrated. So usually this happens, in our African settings or other settings where the perpetrator would threaten the person, say, you gotta give me a blowjob, you gotta let me sleep with you and stuff like that. If you don't let me sleep with you, you're probably not gonna get this job. If you don't do oral sex on me, you're probably not gonna get this job and stuff like that. So that's the non-physical pressure of unwanted penetration. This person don't want to sleep with this person, obviously, but they're saying that because I'm in authority, you want to get this job, you got to sleep with me and stuff like that. Or, a big man, or maybe someone like people look up to as a big brother or sister, and they use this they misuse their authority. I want to go deeper into this because this misuse of authority has been something that's happened in our Liberian setting a lot. I've spoken to a lot of men that are grown now, but who was able to tell me that during a time of their youth, they got virginized by women that were put in charge to. Dennis, can you put something on the screen for about a second or two? No, not the like the logo. Can we go for like a 1 minute break?
At Focus on Liberia, we discuss everything Liberia, from education to politics, arts and culture, entertainment, agriculture, history, religion, family, and technology. Focus on Liberia uncovers and showcases the best of Liberia and shows the world the truth about Liberia. We educate, elevate, and promote all things Liberia. We conduct interviews, panel discussions, debates, and more. Tune in to Focus on Liberia on Facebook and YouTube and be a part of the stories that make up the news.
This is Focus on Liberia, and I am Dennis Jah.
Thank you. Welcome back, people. So we're talking about this, the authority, non-physical, unwanted penetration, where an authority figure comes in and, coerces a person to have sex with them. A lot of my male friends have spoken to me about situations where the nurses that they left in contact with them will bathe them and see their private parts looking so big and decide to take advantage of it by, when you decide to bathe them, they play with it until these, girls house help then sleeps with them, and this is like their first sexual experience. This person is in authority because they're obviously taking care of this child, and then they sleep with them. We also have some situation where a young boy, his mom is not around, and he has a friend, and the friend mom likes him, and she will make that known to him first by giving him gifts and then make it known to him. And then the next thing you know, she sleeps with him. And that's his first sexual experience. So these are things that has happened. And when somebody's first sexual experience has to do with the carousing from an authority figure and stuff like that, it messes you up as a child. And most of our men in Liberia happen to have had this experience that messed them up. So we're going to be moving on to the next one, unwanted sex contact. This includes intentional touching of the victim or making the victim touch the perpetrator, either directly or through the clothing or on the genitalia, anus, groin, breast, inner thighs, buttocks, without the victim's consent. So this is where the perpetrator would tell the victim, touch my breast. It's the same thing in connection with the non-physical pressure, because these, I'm going back to our Liberia setting, these older women or baby nurses will tell these little boys to touch their breast, put their fingers in their vaginas and stuff like that. And these are kids. These are kids that are like 6 years old. I'm talking about a nurse situation, the baby nanny situation. 6 years old, 7 years old, but because they have a really big manhood and they want to, sit down on that thing, so they will coerce these little boys to do these things. And before you know, this child, 7 to 10 years old, is already sexually active. If it's, the older woman, the older market woman, or the mother of a friend that this person is in contact with, if the child if the man has not had sex before, you would see her, telling him to touch certain places between her thighs, rub her buttocks and stuff like that. Or with the men, the same thing, telling women to hold their genitals, play with it without the consent of the victim. The last but not the least, sexual violence is non-contact unwanted sexual experiences. This one here includes sexual events that are not in the physical nature, but it occurs without the victim's consent. So we're looking at things like unwanted exposure to sexual situations like pornography. You know, you go somewhere and it's maybe you are talking to this person, you started dating and stuff like that. You go visit your boyfriend, your girlfriend, and all of a sudden they are obsessed with pornography and they put on a pornography movie, or maybe there's a verbal or behavior sexual harassment right there where they be like, oh, I want to be with you, or threats of sexual violence to accomplish some other ends or to accomplish a means. Unwanted filming. The unwanted filming is something that you know happens a lot in our community where a man and a woman meets in private or on the phone, and all of a sudden they're doing like a video sex, and somebody else decides that I'm going to use another phone to record this person in their moment with me doing this sexual act, and before you know, that is of sexual violence as well. Threats of sexual violence to accomplish something, and disseminating photograph of sexual nature of another person. As I said, the video thing that people usually do, and then maybe you and somebody in a relationship, you're long distance, you be sending pictures to the person of yourself, you guys break up, and all of a sudden, boom, that person's there sending your pictures all around social media, sending your videos around, some videos that you didn't know about. Sometimes people don't know about these videos that they're being recorded. Sometimes it's audio that people use to record their partners when they're having sex with them. They don't know anything about it, and before you know, boom, it's out there. That is abuse. That is abuse. Sometimes people think abuse is just the punching or whatever it is and stuff like that, but no, it's not just the punching. It's not just that. Abuse happen to be a whole lot of different things, like what I have expressed here. So sexual and physical abuse is often accompanied by controlling behavior. Most people who are that have controlling behavior have this issue. So the World Health Organization surveyed that 24,000 women in 10 different countries. The percentage of those who had experienced one or more of the following controlling behavior ranged from 20% in Japan to 90% in urban Republic of Tanzania. Keeping her from seeing her friends, that's a form of a controlling behavior. Keeping her or him from seeing friends. I'm not going to say her because it happens both ways. Restricting contact with family of birth. That's another controlling behavior. It's a huge red flag. It happening. Run. Run to your satuka, put it on your head, and run. Because at the end of the day, who wants to be restricted from seeing their family members? Now somebody comes in your life and they think they're your knight in shining armor, and now they want to control your life, insisting on knowing where you are at all times. They get some partners then. Everywhere you go, they're calling you 24/7. If you're that person, you need to stop, because that's an abuse. Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? Every day they want to know. Every second they want to know. That is not normal behavior. If you are exhibiting these behavior, you need to quit it, because it's abuse. Another one, ignoring or treating your partner indifferently. Ignoring. Sometimes you're together, you ignore the person, you treat them indifferently, as if to say you're not in a relationship. You take away the affection that the person that you're supposed to be giving to this person. It's not good. Somebody doing it to you is a red flag. Getting angry if he or she speaks with other partners, that is not okay too. People are allowed to live freely and also be in relationship. It's not a fallacy that if you're in relationship, you can't talk to no other person. When I say talk to other person, I'm not talking about going to be unfaithful. I'm talking about having conversations. Or men should be able to have conversation with other women, or women should be able to have conversation with other men. It should be that way. So if you are a partner and you're there telling the person, oh, you can't talk to nobody else, you gotta talk to only me, there's a problem there. And the other one, often accusing the person of being unfaithful. Not want to. controlling. It's borderline narcissist behavior. And every day you just get up and you think that this person is cheating on you, and you start to accuse them. I mean, I had a relationship like that, and I ran away from it because I was doing my best to be good in this relationship, to not do these things. And this person was not motivating me at all. Always complaining about things then that he didn't know anything about. I looked at it for a long time, was a big, huge red flag. I said, got to go. That was the main reason. Because at the end of the day, if you know you're doing these things and the person continuously come and tell you that you're doing it, it doesn't motivate you to want to stay. Because in relationship, we want the best for our partners, and our partners want the best for us. So when we're in a situation where the person telling you, oh, you're doing it wrong, you're doing that wrong, and stuff like that, you be like, that's not working. Let me check find my way and go. Because at the end of the day, whether I do it, I don't do it, I'm still not going to get the respect and the peace of mind that I need. Run. Controlling the person's access to healthcare. That's what WHO said. That these are behaviors that are not good. Controlling the person's access to healthcare. So one of the things that this could be would be, let's say somebody is going through depression, and they tell their partner, so, baby, I'm going through depression. I would like to go and see a therapist. And the person say, no, don't go. Don't go see no therapist. We can face it right here. Even though the person is not a psychologist, they say we can face it right here. All I wanted, blah, 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 blah. Controlling your access to healthcare. If somebody is doing that to you, that person is controlling. They are a narcissist. Let me add my name on there. Run. Next thing, stalking and cyber stalking. Then when you're a lot of you can do it. So we're going to talk about it. Stalking is a pattern of repeated unwanted attention and contact that causes fear or concern for one's own safety or the safety of someone else. Example, it could be a family member or could be a friend. Some examples include unwanted phone calls, emails, texts, leaving cards, letters, flowers, other items when the victim does not want them, watching or following from a distance, spying on social media and in real life, approaching or showing up in places when the victim does not want to see them, sneaking into the victim's home or car, damaging the victim's personal property, harming or threatening the victim's pet, and making threats to physical harm of the victim. This is stalking and cyber stalking. Some of you go open fake profile, okay, about 10 to 15 fake profile. That's abuse. To stalk people is abuse. If you're in that situation, you need to desist from it. It's sickening. If somebody move on in their life from you, move on in your life from that person. You don't have to stalk them. You don't have to cyber stalk them. Spy on them, going on the page, looking at things, going in your fake profile to respond. It's not good. And if you are going through anything like this, ladies and gentlemen, block those people from social media and try as much as possible to make sure you take care of that cyber stalking thing or that stalking thing by reaching to your local police, because these people can change in their behavior and it can become more aggressive. That's a form of abuse. We're going to be moving to psychological aggression. Psychological aggression is the use of verbal and nonverbal communication with the intent to harm another person mentally or emotionally, or to exert control over another person. Psychological aggression can include expressive aggression, example, name calling, humiliating. People know they want it. I see this a lot on social media, especially among our men in the Liberian community. Soon you're having discussion, brother may come, instead of being able to express himself adequately in a nice communicative way, the next thing will start telling you how your brain is the size of a pea, how you this, how you that. People like that are getting little rope and then I block them. Because at the end of the day, I don't need your abuse. That is a form of abuse. And when you check behind it, these very men and women that are meting these abuse on you, they're doing it in a relationship. And this is not like an isolated case. I don't tolerate that. And you should not tolerate anybody coming to you and name calling you, humiliating. Now we got the internet here, and most interaction goes on the internet. But face to face, no. Name calling is not okay. So at the end of the day, I look for ways and means to make the person feel bad too. If you curse me, I look for things I know that will hear you and will tell you back. Because by right, there's a way you can express yourself and you can bring your argument across without name calling or trying to humiliate someone. There's a line that we must not cross when we are dealing with people. You can't leave from your own Facebook page, you come on somebody on a Facebook page, or you can't leave from your house, you go to somebody's house and you go and name call them and you try to humiliate them. Why? That is abuse. If you are in the habit of doing that, you need to stop. Next one. Corrosive control. Example, limiting access to transportation, money, friends, family, excess monitoring of whereabouts. You want when you're in a relationship now. When you're in a person in a relationship, then you find a person controlling you. Oh, you can't drive here. You just need to get in your car. You go to work. It's about 15 minutes from the house to your work. When I call you in 20 minutes, you won't be to your work on video showing me that you are at work. When you leave work, you let me know you're leaving work. When you get home, it's 15 minutes drive. You get home, you take another picture showing me that you're home. That we're talking limiting access, or the person want to go somewhere and you're not allowing him to go. When I get home, I will drive you. When you this, I will carry you to your friend place. I will do the one, not allowing the person to have access to move around. Most of the time, when it comes to the money part, is when the woman not working. Now I can tell my ladies that find a job to do, find some business to do, so you can have the opportunity to be independent. Because when you are independent, it can be hard for men to disrespect you. Now, if you got your own money, there's no way this man's going to abuse you when it comes to your finances because you get your own money. Friends, don't go around this person. This person look like they're a hope Joe. Don't go around this person. The other man look like he can't sit down one place and stuff like that. Their family member here, unlike the apple they gave me the last time. Don't go around them and excessively monitoring people where you going? Where you been? Some men they can even, when you come from out, they say they want to check you. They put the finger in you. Or some women, they want to check the man. They put a hand on the man and nuts to see if he been having sex. Well, all I want it for. And at the end of the day, the person will walk away from you. Because no one deserves to be in a cage like an animal when it comes to relationship. It's not by force. Relationship is not by force. It's a privilege to be in a relationship. It's a blessing to be in a relationship, but it's not mandatory that someone should take your shit like that. No. If you are in something like this, you are going through serious abuse and you need to make up your mind to get out. Exploitation of the victims vulnerability, like immigration status, disability. Yeah, immigration status. They want you. I need to on this more. Immigration status. Some of y'all with me and your men in our community. You will go. You will not spoil your knee in America here. When you can't get one relationship, who can be look at you? Because the way you're not carry yourself. Then you say you're going home, or you're going to Asia, or you're going to the player to go get a relationship. You will take plane, leave from here, go to that country there, go marry that person, and bring the person here. When you bring the person here, different story. It's a different story for another day. Start cursing the person. If you don't take care, I'm going to send your ass back to your country. Blah, blah, blah. If the person disabled, it's a whole lot of different thing too. No. Nobody should be treated like a caged animal. Nobody should be treated like that because you brought somebody here. The fact that you brought somebody here don't mean that somebody must have brought you to America too. Every one of us that are Liberians, somebody brought you here. So you want to tell me, say, if the person who brought you here treating you like the way you're treating this person that you brought to this country, how you will feel? Most of the women there, you will be nice to the man. When the man is outside of the country, oh, darling, I love you. As soon as the person can hear now, then you know that you comfortably have that person. That the time you start to show your true colors. Get you easy, blah, 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 blah. That time they can be speaking the half color there. That the name when they came here from small town or when they were born. I don't know what's wrong with you. Blah, 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 blah. Because you bring somebody child here now, so the person will be what you say. The person will be honor you like a slave. That is not right. And that's why most of the time, people that bring people here, they leave you. And you want to be like, oh, I brought people here and then I leave me. They say stuff like that. They leave because you're not a cool woman. You're not a cool man. Bringing somebody here is not a prerequisite for that person to be your slave. Bringing somebody here is a good thing. But when a person come here, treat them like human being. Because before they came to be with you, they were human beings. Respected in a community that live in, among the family and stuff like that. Don't bring them in, you degrade them. Don't do it. It's not good. Next point. Presenting false information to the victim with the intent of making them doubt their own memory or perception. Playing mind games. I want to go. Because some of you know how to do it. Oh, you know the last time when we had our talk, you told me, as far as saying, you know the person didn't tell you anything. Playing mind games on them. Because you want to win a conversation, you want to win an argument. It's not good. That's abuse. If somebody is doing that to you, you need to think twice. Playing on someone's, exploiting someone's vulnerability. Some of y'all know your partners and know some of the things the partners like and what they don't like. And before I know, we're there and we're exploiting them. You know, maybe your partner, maybe is insecure. The person dressed like that. What I want you wearing? What style you wearing? Go take it off. It's not nice. You look like a slut. You look like a chigilo. Knowing this person is insecure. And you're using that against him. Then now when the person go look at the clothes and just say now they're feeling down. Another thing, you know the person is insecure. You can't write, oh, you smell stink. And you know the person that smells stink. Go pave, go brush them off. Why? Why you treat another human being like that? What homes were you brought up in that you feel the need to treat another living human being like that? The other day, somebody wrote on my wall and they said, oh, you know, if you don't want somebody, just leave the person instead of harming them, abusing them, or killing them. And I want to tell you today, Abuse is addictive. It's not that they don't want you. Their mind don't think the way the normal mind thinks. An abuser don't think the way the normal mind thinks. So they want you there. Not because of the way I might want my partner around me. They want you there so that they can suffer you, so that they can inflict pain on you. Because when they inflict pain on you, it's a high for them. It's an addiction. So, it's not going to be like, oh, get out of my life and stuff like that. No, they're never going to tell you go. And even when you want to go, they will pick you and lie to you that they will never behave that way again because they want you there because it's an addiction. Corrosive control and intimidation by the abusive partner is considered an undenying component of all these types of violence. The abusive partner's ability to control relies on the abused person's belief that if he or she does not comply with the abusive partner demands, the victim, the children, or other persons or things the victim cares about will be harmed. A lot of times, an abuser will tell the victim, if you don't do this, I will go to your work and tell the people that you are rogue, you are this. I will take this away from you. And based on that person's belief, especially immigration situation, sometimes people kind of don't know their rights. So they'll just think that, oh, the thing the person talking, they will do it. Like when I came here, I had a lot of conversation with some Liberian men that made me understand that a lot of Liberian women had put Liberian men in jail because they had little quarrels. And now today that person cannot work. That person don't have a way to do anything because they have a record on them. But come to find out, that wasn't the actual situation. The actual situation when it comes to the abuse is these people were abusing these women and did not want the police to get involved. But there are certain times in the abuse, enough is enough. And the police check out to get involved. The police have to get involved. Because with the police involved, that way, at least be able to break out the relationship. If you, as a man or woman, cannot break out the relationship, call the police will break out the relationship for you. The police will break out the relationship for you. So they will tell you all kinds of things. I will do this, you will be harmed. They will manipulate you. Most often these threats are, sometimes mixed with either, stress, or they change it to acts of kindness. Especially sometimes when they beat you or when they put a hand on you. I will not do it again. Buy flowers, buy jewelry, bring it to you. It will not happen again. I'm sorry. And you, as a victim, think that that's the last time it's happening? No. Once a person put a hand on you, they will not stop putting a hand on you until you do something about it. Once a person put a hand on you, they will not stop. And so they make it difficult for the victim to break free. Sometimes they even tell the victim, you will never get anybody like me. Never. I am the only person. If you leave my life, that's it. You're not going to get nobody like me. Nobody at all. And when you tell somebody that thing and, they don't have no family, they don't have no friends, and, to talk to, they believe those things. The 10th Country World Health Organization survey and other research has consistently shown that emotional abuse can have more profound and negative effect than physical abuse. Are you not one part? That's a serious one. When somebody physically abuse you, at least you can see the little mark on you, to know that something happened. But when it comes to emotional abuse, no mark. It's like a mind game. You try to ask yourself, am I in a situation or not? Is this person doing anything to me or not? Are they withholding sex for me to punish me? Is this person, emotional abuse is profound, it's deep. That one can mess you up in a heartbeat. And you have to be able to identify these things. Because if you don't identify it, you will never come to terms with it and you will think that everything is okay, but it's not. The one that you can see that might be sounding like the most, violent one is not the one that has more impact than the one that is silent. Somebody withdraw money from you, withhold money from you in a relationship because they want to punish you. They withhold sex from you. I will not sleep with you for 2 months. We'll be here. You're not getting anything from me. And you know that these are the things that make your relationship grow. But you decide to withdraw it from your partner because you want to teach the person a lesson. What all I want for? Why the wickedness? Some people will talk the best way to strangers. Use the inside voice. Hello, my name is Jessica. Jessica talking me. But yeah, Jessica talking to me. You be like, oh, okay. That's the way it is. It shouldn't be that way. You should try as much as possible to continue to build your relationship to get to different levels where there is respect. It shouldn't be a situation where you can treat an outsider better than the way you treat the person that is with you. And we find out a lot. We find a lot of charming people out here doing charming things with strangers. But when it comes to the self situation, no, that's not good. That's a form of abuse. So researchers have shown that emotional abuse, I said that one, and between 20 to 75% of women across the country's survey reported being a recipient of emotional abuse within the 12 previous months. And this is a research that was done in 2005 by WHO. So you can imagine that number would have gone up now. I don't see comments here. I don't know why I don't see no comments. Can we bring some comments up? Oh, there it is. Let's bring some comments out here. Let me read some comments here. Samuel Bravo, there. Good morning. How are you? Hey, Flomo Zuba. Morning, dear. How are you? Mr. Alliance Blama, how are you? Thank you for watching from Liberia. Queer, Carlo, my little sister, long time. Please tell Mommy Felicia got it. Okay. Hi, Mama. How are you? Roberta, Roberta Richard, R Square watching. Thank you for watching. Richardson, this is an awesome show. Thank you, Lady J. Thank you too, Richardson. I appreciate the compliment. Thank you. All right, so we are 52 minutes into the show. If anybody have any questions, this will be the time. I appreciate you guys watching. Most of the time, people watch later on, and I don't get to answer those big questions. But if you are on and you would like to ask some questions, this will be the time. I'll tell you guys a little story. It takes a strong person or someone who's been there, done that, to discuss domestic violence. And domestic violence is real. About some weeks ago, a sister of ours in the state of Minnesota, Pishu, she got stabbed by her husband violently, and she was killed. Backstory: this man was sleeping with Pishu's daughter, and she found out
She asked him about it, and she said she was going to tell, the community, and he silenced her by killing her. That day, her life was taken. And I know for a fact that that was not the first time he had abused her. In fact, the Sagittarius rape or whatever that was been going on, that's not his first time. Another little girl came on, or young woman came on, and expressed when she was at a younger age, he did that to her. And when she told her auntie or the person she was living with, she was brushed off. Ladies, we need to do a better job in protecting our girls. Pisha protected her daughter to her death. Did she experience abuse? I would say yes. Did she think there was anything wrong with it? Maybe. But today she's no more to tell her story. But we are here. I am a survivor of domestic violence. I'm a survivor, proud survivor. And I tell my story so well, without any shame. Not because I want to put my business out there. Our Liberian community is not good for telling your stories because we're so close-minded. But if I don't tell my story, how can I help my Uma, my auntie, my sister, my small sister, my little daughter, my niece? How can I help? Domestic violence is real. Real. Like you standing in front of the mirror and looking at your image is real. I did a live about domestic violence the other day, and I said, it's hard to walk away. You think about all these different things. Sometimes the perpetrator will tell you, you're not find nobody like me. You go there, you're going to suffer. You don't work. You don't do this. You don't make enough money to survive on your own. I will leave with your children and all those kind of things. But at the end of the day, you still have to make the situation work. How do individuals who find themselves in this situation get out to find help in the communities? That's what I'm getting to. Thank you for the question, Richardson. Let me get done with this first, Dennis, and I would attack your question. You want to think about it. Sit down and think. If I stay here, would I be one of the statistics where they're going to put me in a bag and take me away one day? You think. You have to plan. If I leave, how do I leave? What do I do? And then you have to make your move. There's not an alternative when it comes to domestic violence. Our community is not supportive as it should be because every other household is experiencing this. So when you're talking to somebody and that person is experiencing it, oh, just stay there, man. Just stay there. That's what it did to that Nigerian artist, the singer. I call Sister Chi. Onishishi or something like that, they call her. But she was there. Her husband was beating her. He was letting the children beat her. If he took her to the studio to go record, he would not buy food for her. He would disgrace her in the studio while she's recording. He would let her walk from church, stand under the sun where she got 2 cars that was given to her. He took all the cars away until he kicked that woman in her chest some weeks ago, and she was taken to the hospital in Abuja, and that's where she died. You will not survive it one day. You will not be able to tell the story if you don't get out. Getting out is the only alternative to the situation. We don't have a supportive community for them to say they'll put a hand around you. So you have to put your hand around yourself and get out. Dennis, what's your question? Is domestic violence in our community a cultural thing, something we get from Western culture? Where is it coming from? It is a cultural thing. Great question. It is a cultural thing. They get some people in our community, in our different tribes. Then, for example, excuse me for my expression, I'm a pastor woman too, but I get some pastor getting, if you don't beat them, they're not going to have sex with you. They just like to fight. They left for the man to touch them. That's something that they're used to. Our parents then told us to just stay. If something happened in the home, the man slap you, you must have done something wrong. That's why the man slap you. Sit down in your horse. Where you going? Sit down. So it is a cultural thing. But these cultural things have been leading to death. In those days when a man came your wife, nobody would hear about it. We just said a woman died. And it would bury her. Or she died from some illness that we don't know. But today it's becoming apparent that this is a menace in our society that needs to be addressed head on. We can no longer sit and allow our sisters and brothers to die off of the hands of an abuser who is sick. We cannot allow ourselves to be manipulated by these sick people. We need to get out. So you need to think, you need to plan, and you need to get out. That's what you need to do. There is a certain tradition that says if a man does not beat you, that man does not love you. Is that a myth? What's your response? Is true. There are some people in Liberia, women in Liberia, that feel that if a man don't put a hand on you, he don't love you. It's not a myth. These are the cultural things that continue to make us subservient to abuse. And these are not good. They are not good cultural beliefs that we should continue to carry. You will not live to tell the story. We need to wisen up and be prudent in a way we love ourselves. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate your time. This was Lady J here discussing domestic violence and abuse on the sex and relationship conversation on Focus on Liberia. I will see you next week. Same time, Wednesday at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. Ta-ta.
We are Liberia. Liberia is our home. Liberia people. Liberia.